Hello friends, Pastor Coates, and I welcome you back to Money Talk, where we talk about money here at Family First. Money's important to God, money's important to us, and we need the wisdom of God on our finances. In our series, we're talking about common myths of kingdom prosperity. Who are mythbusters? We're blowing away some of these common misconceptions. And here's the one I want to deal with today. Here's the myth. Now listen carefully. The myth is that poverty helps keep us humble. Now listen to that. We've probably believed that. Many of you probably have believed that. But poverty does not automatically keep a person humble. The old joke is very dishonoring, but maybe you've heard it. Some church leaders were sitting around one day discussing how much they thought the pastor's salary ought to be, and they were praying and talking, and here was their response. They said, "Lord, you keep him humble, and we'll keep him poor." As if there was any correlation whatsoever between struggling to meet the needs of he and his family and having a humble, serving heart before the Lord. I actually think those with that attitude probably had the problem with pride, not the pastor. There is no correlation whatsoever between pride and humility and poverty or prosperity. Listen, some of the most arrogant people I have ever known have been very poor. Poverty did not automatically make them humble. In fact, in some cases, the poverty increased their pride. They have a distorted, perverted thinking that somehow they're prideful in the fact that they don't have anything. It's kind of like that same myth between large and small churches. Some people think that small churches are automatically holy and clean, and large churches are automatically liberal and non-spiritual. It's like a person one day that had that attitude said, "Well, our church isn't very big, but we're holy. Our church is not big, but we're sure clean." And a mentor in my life said, "Yeah, you're clean, all right. Almost clean out of business." There's no correlation between our finances and whether or not we have a humble heart. Some of the most arrogant people I know are very poor. Likewise, some of the richest people I have ever known are very humble. Maybe they run a large ministry or they own a significant business, and every day they are very humble people relying upon God each and every day to fulfill their provision so that they can meet the needs of God's assignment on their life. Again, I think this is another misconception of that verse, 1 Timothy 6:10, which actually says the love of money is the root of all people. But people misquote that it's not money, it's the love of money. Here's the reason why this myth exists, especially here in America. We have such a limited, short-sighted, near-sighted, narrow-minded view of poverty and wealth. Do you realize if you make more than $34,000 a year, you are in the top 1% of the world's population? You're a 1%er at $34,000. If you make more than $11,000 a year, and that's far below the poverty level in the United States. If you make $11,000 a year, in the top 10% of the world's population. If you have a computer, a cell phone, a TV, then you are extremely wealthy. If wealth is evil, then we have a problem. And if poverty automatically would make us humble, then we would give everything away. But it absolutely would not. You see, there's such a spirit, and I think it's a religious spirit, that twists the biblical view of wealth to make us think that poverty automatically keeps us humble and closer to God. What the Bible actually teaches is there's no correlation whatsoever between a financial situation, poverty or prosperity, and a spiritual situation, humility or arrogance. In fact, what the Bible does teach is that you can be spiritually humble whether or not you are materially wealthy or very poor, but likewise you can be very arrogant and spiritually aloof whether or not you have resources in your life. Obviously, we want to remain humble before God so that God can use us in whatever He puts in our lives so that we can have enough to fulfill our assignment and plenty left over to help others fulfill their assignment. Here's the prayer. We're going to pray again today. It's right there for you on the screen. Dear God, thank you for helping me to understand that poverty does not make a person humble. I understand that money is only a revealer of what's already in the heart. True humility does not come from what or who a person has, but from who or what has them. Help me to always remain humble before you, humble so that you can use me to be a source of provision and wealth to not only myself and my family, but also to many others. These things I pray in Jesus' wonderful name. Amen and amen.